So, now that I have let some frustrations out, um, let's talk some serious stuff about what I mentioned at the end of the last video. What does this dropout and endorsement mean for the future of Tulsi, Bernie, the Democrat Party, politics as a whole? I'm going to be enjoying some cold ones while I make this video for just a little bit. So, first off, what does it mean for Tulsi Gabbard? As I said, I expected Tulsi Gabbard to do this post-convention as Joe Biden became the nominee. I did not expect her, of course, to, support Donald Trump. She said she would not do third party, so naturally I expected her to support whomever the nominee was going to be. But again, that's post, convention time. And we're not post-convention time right now, are we? So you're throwing your, hat behind someone still in primary season. Not the eventual nominee. Yes, even though pretty much everything says he's going to be the nominee, it's called don't count chickens before they hatch. So you've jumped the gun. Meaning it looks like you sold out to Joe Biden. Now, that's where I get a problem. Now, maybe you feel differently than me, but I have a problem because that is the very thing I said that caused me to lose so much respect for Bernie Sanders the last time around. Just a fact. That was a big deciding factor why I was not for Bernie. I don't like someone who complains about a problem but then decides that someone that's part of that problem is the lesser of two evils and then kisses their ass. And unfortunately, that's what this looks like to me. And whether it's because Joe Biden offered you a position in the cabinet, whether it's just because you believe he's going to be the eventual nominee, it doesn't really matter to me. The timing's just not there. As long as Bernie Sanders was in this race, you can't tell me, Tulsi, that if you really cared about your issues, you would have went with Joe Biden. Now, at the same time, do I feel like Bernie deserves Tulsi's support? No. Tulsi arguably has done more to defend Bernie Sanders than Bernie Sanders has done to defend himself. She was far more of Bernie Sanders' attack dog on a debate stage than Bernie Sanders was for taking down candidates himself. Remember, we can thank Tulsi Gabbard for why the Kamala Harris campaign had such an abrupt end. Okay? We can thank Tulsi Gabbard for that, after all. Okay? So, that being said, Bernie hasn't earned or is entitled to Tulsi's support, but most certainly Joe Biden isn't at this point either. It's one thing to just support whomever the nominee became. It's another thing to do it before the nominee is officially decided. You don't even know between now and the time that the convention is over with what kind of shape Joe Biden is even going to be in by the time we get to the convention. So, since you don't know whether he's even going to be capable of doing the job by the time we get to the convention or by the time he gets ready to run against Donald Trump, I find it rather foolish to do it. Especially when your original promise is you're in it till the end. And we're not yet quite at the end. Okay? So, this doesn't make very much sense. Again, unless you are being promised some sort of a position within Joe Biden's cabinet. Remember, she has given up her seat, pretty much. She's not going to run for re-election. So that means, where is she going to be in the world of politics after this is done if she's not running for re-election for her congressional seat in Hawaii? More than likely, she's got something worked out to be in, or at least promised. Whether she actually gets it or not, that's another story for another day. She's probably been offered something in a Joe Biden cabinet. That's what I'm hanging my hat on at the moment. But that being said, let's be honest. Let's just be completely honest about something here, okay? What does this do for Tulsi Gabbard politically in the future? Tulsi, you wonder where a lot of supporters that flock behind you came from? I can tell you just by reading comment sections on my videos. A lot of your supporters were Bernie Sanders supporters the last time around. Now, what drew them to you this time around? Well, maybe it's because they liked you better than Bernie Sanders. Maybe it's because they thought you had better policy than Bernie Sanders. Maybe it's because this is not certainly the worst reason to choose. Maybe it's because you were better looking than Bernie Sanders. I don't know. But at the end of the day, there are a lot of people out there, and I can speak for this, who most certainly supported you because they thought you were more of a fighter than Bernie Sanders. And you were proving that throughout this primary season. But to come out and endorse Joe Biden, you're going to get the same effect that Bernie got when he kissed Hillary's ass. And it ain't a good one. You're going to lose a lot of respect over this. A lot of your supporters are already talking about how shocked they were, how disappointed they were. You can count me among them, but I've seen the conversations going on Twitter for the last few hours, and they're not good. They're simply not good at all. Quite frankly, Tulsi, this is political suicide. I've been calling for a third party for quite some time. And while, based off what Tulsi Gabbard has said and what she has done up until today, I felt like she would be a good fit for that third party. I don't know that I can say that now. I really don't. Would I reject her supporting a third party the next time around? No. No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't reject Bernie either. Would I want to make her the face of it? No. Realistically, and this is my opinion, you can't have someone as the face of a true third party that is against the establishment if said candidate has kissed the establishment's ass. You simply can't. Now, I gave a pass to Tulsi Gabbard when she did the same thing Bernie did and endorsed Hillary Clinton, because Bernie got out and stumped votes for Hillary Clinton and campaigned for the witch. Tulsi Gabbard never did. Now, I don't know that she's going to get out there and campaign for Joe Biden, but once again, the last time she endorsed a candidate during the primary season, it was Bernie. Okay, you've got Bernie running this time. He's not dropped out, but you chose to endorse Joe Biden. And once again, let's break this down step by step. What are you hoping to gain from endorsing Joe Biden? What do you think is going to come out of Joe Biden winning this election? I ask this to Tulsi and anyone who is going to defend the actions that she's done as of today. What do you think's going to come out of a Joe Biden presidency exactly? Okay? What do you think's going to happen? Well, I can kind of give you an idea. You're going to get a man who is arguably, definitely coming down with dementia. It's arguable he's got dementia, okay? And it's looking worse and worse and worse. So when we're talking about, and this is something that's been brought up about Donald Trump this entire time, fitness of a president, whether or not they can handle the office, are they healthy enough to handle the job? You think that the best man to replace Donald Trump is someone that can barely get out coherent sentences anymore. That's the man for the job. That's the man that's going to sit in the Oval Office, guide policy, and meet with foreign leaders and get what's best for this country done, is it? Someone that can barely get out coherent sentences? Wow. I don't see where you could come to that conclusion, but okay, let's move on to the next one. What else are you going to get with Joe Biden? Okay, Tulsi, you wanted single payer plus. Bernie wanted Medicare for all, and pretty much all the left can agree that, okay, yeah, the left wants a single payer system of some sort. Tulsi's plan, Bernie's plan. You may have a preference, but I'm sure push comes to shove, you'd take either one over the current system, right? Okay. So, Tulsi, what do you think Joe Biden's going to give you? The man already said that if Medicare for all made it to his desk, because it passed the House and the Senate, he would veto it. You think yours is going to be any different? Give me a break. Yours would be no different. Yours would be not one bit different than Medicare for all. And why? Because it does not kiss Big Pharma's ass, and it does not kiss the big insurance company's ass. And whose ass does Joe Biden kiss? Well, he kisses more than just theirs, but he most certainly kisses theirs. And yours doesn't cut the mustard for these rich assholes, so no, he wouldn't vote for yours either. He would veto yours. So, healthcare. Okay. Whoops, that one's gone. Let's talk about war. Big part of the Tulsi Gabbard campaign. Huge, huge, huge talking point. Getting out of all these wars. She wants out of them, right? Joe Biden voted to go to war in Iraq. Tulsi, haven't you bashed that multiple times? You bashed that, right? Bernie didn't go support the war in Iraq. But Joe Biden did. Also, let's remember that it was Joe Biden who was part of the Obama administration, and they took us from, 2 conflicts to 7? We saw the rise of ISIS under a Obama-Biden presidency. We saw Benghazi under an Obama-Biden presidency. We saw our intervention in Libya. We saw our intervention in Syria. I mean, am I missing something here? How is Joe Biden the guy that's even going to push to get out of all these wars? He's not. He doesn't fit the mold at all. So, again, I'll refer back to the last video. How can you argue his heart is in the right place? His heart has never been in the right place, except if your definition is of being the right place, his pocketbook and his bank account. Because that's the only place his heart is at, is what gets him more money. Who's going to contribute to my campaign the most? That's all he cares about. That's all Hillary cared about. That's all half of these corporate hacks care about. So you can't tell me the man's heart's in the right place. It's not. It's just not. And so, Tulsi, if you try to run again, understand this. It seems like you've tried to take the approach of Bernie. I'll try because the media has smeared me, demeaned me, slandered me, and, drowned me out. Maybe I shouldn't be quite so hard on them. Maybe I should kind of lighten up and try to go along to get along. And maybe if I kind of play ball, then the next time around I can give my message, not get drowned out. Maybe somebody else support me, and then I might get something out of this. Yeah, that worked wonders for Bernie. What happened? They screwed him over again, still tried to silence him out. Okay? Still tried to silence him out. And on top of that, they did one other thing. Oh! They were able to coalesce all the corporate support behind one candidate, convince a so-called progressive candidate like Elizabeth Warren to stay in the race just long enough to siphon a lot of votes away from Bernie Sanders. They could argue you were doing the same thing at this point, but whatever. Okay? Siphon enough votes away so that it potentially could have cost him Super Tuesday, because there's people that say that had Warren dropped out, Bernie could have won more states on Super Tuesday, but that's neither here nor there. They were able to get all that done. Oh, and by the way, because Bernie chose this new path, his base was fractured this time around because a handful went to support you or just wouldn't vote Democrat at all, or maybe even went to other candidates, Steyer, Warren, whomever. But they left the Bernie side of the aisle because of what he did to Hillary, supporting Hillary Clinton, and saying he would do it again this time around, even though there was signs that he was getting screwed in plain daylight right there again. So why do you think that the outcome for you politically is going to be any different? This was suicide. This was suicide. If you run, and if you don't have any progressive competition the next time around, your base will be fractured. You won't have a solid base, meaning that they will run corporate candidates against you, they will screw you, and you'll see this all over again. You won't get anything from it. The only thing you might get from it is that, again, if Joe Biden wins, you might get a cabinet position. Wow, that's great. I don't know what to say. I mean, I really don't. All I can say is we definitely need a third party in this country. But I would welcome Tulsi to support a good, strong third party in this country. But as far as who's going to run, who would be the face of it, we certainly need somebody that's not going to try to just work alongside the establishment all to build a coalition for the establishment, because an establishment coalition is not a good one. It's just not. Establishment coalitions appeasing the establishment are more of the problems that, one, got you Donald Trump in the first place, and two, have produced a lot of problems for the working middle class for a long time. That's what got you NAFTA. That's what almost got you the TPP. And again, for all of you never Trumpers, that's what got you Donald Trump. So I'll leave it with this. You know what they say? Doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again and expecting a different result, that's the definition of insanity. So for anyone who thinks, Tulsi Gabbard included, that repeating what has already been done is going to get you a different result, somehow, some way, again, that's the definition of insanity.